Do-hyun Kim stood in the Great Hall of the Galactic Council Station. The massive room stretched far above his head, filled with beings that looked nothing like humans. Some were made of living crystal that sparkled in the light. Others floated like colored gas in special tanks. A few looked like giant trees with eyes that glowed softly. All of them were looking at him like he was a pet that had learned to walk on two legs. "The
human requests mining rights,"
said the voice that came from everywhere and nowhere. The translation device made all the alien words sound flat and cold. "They want to dig rocks in the Sigma-7 asteroid belt." Laughter filled the huge room. Not happy laughter, but the kind that made Do-hyun's face burn with shame. The crystalline being at the center of the room, crystalline prime Zethmol, made a sound like breaking glass that the translator called laughter. "Mining rights?" Zethmol's voice was like ice. "These little creatures can barely leave their own planet without blowing themselves up. What do they know about mining in space?" More laughter. Do-hyun kept his face calm, but his hands made fists at his sides. Behind him, he heard Yujin Park shift in her seat. His old friend was getting angry too. On his other side, Nari Choi touched his arm gently, telling him to stay calm. "We have studied the asteroid belt carefully," Do-hyun said. His voice stayed level and polite. "Earth has good mining technology. We can extract materials safely and sell them to other worlds." A being that looked like a giant jellyfish floating in air made wet sounds that meant it was laughing. "Safely? These humans fight wars over everything. They cannot even agree on what color their sky is. The human military is quite amusing," said another voice. This one came from something that looked like a walking tree with too many arms. "They still use chemical explosives and metal bullets." How charming. Do-hyun had practiced this speech many times. He knew they would laugh at humans. Earth's leaders had told him to expect it. But hearing it was different from knowing it would happen. "Respected council members," he said, "humanity asks only for the chance to prove ourselves. We are new to space, yes, but we learn quickly. We work hard. We can be good partners in trade." The crystalline being made that glass-breaking sound again. "Partners? Oh, that is rich. You have been in space for what, 50 years? We have been traveling between stars since before your species discovered fire." The floating jellyfish creature pulsed with colors. "I have seen their ships. Metal tubes with fire shooting out the back. Like children playing with rockets, please," said a voice from the tree-like being. "Let us not be too harsh. The humans are entertaining. Remember the videos of their military exercises? All that running around and shouting. Quite amusing." Yujin made a small sound behind him. Do-hyun knew she wanted to say something. Probably something that would get them all thrown out. He raised one hand slightly, telling her to wait. "We understand we have much to learn," Do-hyun said. "But every species in this council was new once. You all had to start somewhere." "Yes," said Zethmol. "But we did not start by threatening to blow up everything that moved. Humans are violent, dangerous, unpredictable. Adorable warmongers playing with fusion toys," added the jellyfish being. "That is what you are." The council talked among themselves for a while. Do-hyun could not understand the alien languages, even with the translator. They spoke too fast and used words that had no human meaning. But he could tell they were deciding what to do with the strange little humans who thought they could mine asteroids. Finally, Zethmol spoke again. "The council has decided. We will grant the humans mining rights." Do-hyun felt his heart jump. Had they actually said yes? "However," the crystalline being continued, "you may mine only one asteroid. Asteroid XK739. It is small and contains nothing of value. Consider it a learning experience." More laughter filled the room. Do-hyun understood now. They were giving humanity a worthless rock to play with, like giving a toy to a child to keep it quiet. "We are grateful for this opportunity," Do-hyun said. He bowed slightly the way his grandfather had taught him. "Humanity will not waste this chance." "Oh, I am sure you will not," said the tree being. "It is impossible to waste something that has no worth to begin with." The council session ended with more laughter. Do-hyun, Yujin, and Nari walked out of the great hall in silence. Only when they reached their small ship did anyone speak. "They gave us garbage," Yujin said. Her face was red with anger. "A worthless rock in the middle of nowhere." "They think we are fools," Nari added. She looked tired. Every word they said was meant to hurt us. Do-hyun sat down in his captain's chair and looked out at the stars. The council station was huge and beautiful. built by beings who had ruled space for thousands of years. Their own ship was tiny next to it, old and simple and nothing special. But it was human, built by human hands with human ideas. That had to count for something. Send a message to Earth, he told his communications officer. Tell them we have mining rights to asteroid XK739. Should I mention that the Council thinks it is worthless? The officer asked. Do-hyun smiled for the first time since the meeting began. No, just tell them we got what we came for. As their ship moved away from the Council station, Do-hyun opened a private channel to Earth. Only the highest military leaders would hear this message. Mission complete, he said quietly. They think we are a joke. They gave us exactly what we wanted, something they consider worthless. They will not watch us closely. They will not care what we do there. He paused and looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there was asteroid XK739 waiting for them. Let them keep thinking that we are harmless fools, he continued. Let them laugh at our simple ships and old weapons. While they laugh, we will work. While they sleep, we will learn. And when the time comes, they will understand that the biggest mistake anyone can make is thinking humans are a joke. The message sent, Do-hyun leaned back in his chair. Around him, his crew prepared for the journey to their new asteroid. They were quiet, but he could see the determination in their faces. They had been insulted today, looked down on, treated like children, but they were still humans. And humans, Do-hyun knew, had a way of surprising people who thought they knew everything. The stars waited ahead of them, cold and distant, but not empty. Never empty. Humanity was coming to the stars, whether the galaxy was ready or not. 3 months had passed since the Council meeting. Dr. Woo-jin Lee floated in zero gravity inside asteroid XK739, looking at something that should not exist. In his gloved hands, he held a crystal that glowed with soft blue light. Around him, the walls of the mining tunnel sparkled with thousands more just like it. This is impossible, he said into his radio. According to every alien database, this asteroid should be empty rock. But these crystals are everywhere. On the other end of the radio, General Soo-bin Han's voice was excited. What kind of crystals, Doctor? Woo-jin looked closer at the crystal in his hands. It felt warm even through his thick gloves. When he moved it, the light inside seemed to dance. Quantum crystals. Pure quantum crystals. If I am right about this, one small piece could power a starship for years. Back on Earth, General Han stood in the secret command center built under the mountains of Korea. Around her, screens showed the location of every human ship in space. Most were still close to Earth, but a few had started to spread out to other systems. How many crystals are there? She asked. Millions, Woo-jin replied. Maybe billions. The entire asteroid is full of them. The aliens missed this completely. Han smiled. The aliens were so smart, so advanced, so sure they knew everything, but they had given humanity exactly what it needed to become strong. Keep mining, she ordered. But be careful. We do not want the aliens to know what we found. Understood, General. Han looked at the other officers in the command center. They all had the same expression, hungry and determined. For months, they had been planning for this moment. Earth's best scientists had been studying alien technology, looking for weaknesses. Earth's best engineers had been designing new ships. And Earth's best soldiers had been training for a war that might never come. But now, with these quantum crystals, everything could change. Captain Tae-ho Shin was fixing his ship when the emergency call came. The small fighter was old and simple compared to alien vessels, but it was fast and tough. More importantly, it was human. All ships, this is priority alert, came the voice over the radio. Unknown hostile forces have attacked Nexari Colony World Theta 9. All available ships report for observation duty. Tae-ho finished tightening the last bolt and climbed into his cockpit. Around him, other human ships were starting their engines. They were supposed to be observers only. The aliens had made that very clear. Humans were too weak and inexperienced to help in real combat. That was fine with Tae-ho. Watching was exactly what they planned to do. 2 days later, Yoo-jin Park stood on the bridge of the human observation ship Busan's Pride. In front of her, screens showed the battle raging around a distant planet. Alien ships moved in perfect formations, firing energy weapons that lit up space like fireworks. They were losing. The enemy ships adapt too quickly, reported her tactical officer. Every time the aliens try a new strategy, these void hunters change their response. Yujin watched as a massive Torgon battleship exploded in silent fire. The Torgon were supposed to be the best fighters in the galaxy. Their ships were huge and powerful, covered in armor that could stop almost any weapon. But the Void Hunters were not using normal weapons. Their ships were black and strange with no obvious design. They moved like living things, flowing around the alien formations and striking at weak points. "Are you recording everything?" Yujin asked. "Yes, Commander. Every battle, every tactic, every weapon signature." "Good. Send copies to all human ships. And prepare a detailed report for Earth." Yujin had been watching alien combat for weeks now. What she saw made her both worried and hopeful. Worried because the Void Hunters were clearly dangerous. Hopeful because the great galactic powers were not as strong as they pretended to be. The aliens fought like they had been at peace for too long. Their tactics were old and predictable. Their ships were built for show as much as combat. They had forgotten what real war looked like. Humans had not forgotten. Humans had been fighting wars for their entire history. On Earth, Do-hyun Kim sat in a meeting room with the leaders of humanity. President Kim, General Han, Admiral Chen, and a dozen others. On the screens around them, reports came in from every human ship in space. The Void Hunters have destroyed 4 colony worlds. Admiral Chen reported, "The aliens are panicking. They keep asking for more ships, more weapons, more soldiers. But they are not working together," observed President Kim. "Each species wants to be in command. They argue more than they fight." General Han pulled up a tactical display. "Our observation teams report that alien formations are easy to predict. They move in straight lines, attack in waves, retreat in order. Very organized, but not creative." "What about their technology?" Do-hyun asked. "Advanced, but specialized," answered Dr. Woo-Jin Lee through video link from asteroid XK739. "Each species developed weapons for fighting other species they knew about. The Veltar use crystal energy that works well against organic beings. The Nexari have gas weapons that are perfect against solid targets, but none of them expected an enemy like the Void Hunters." Do-hyun leaned back in his chair. "And the Void Hunters are machines?" "As far as we can tell, yes. Artificial intelligence that learns from every battle. But they learn to fight aliens, not humans." President Kim looked around the table. "What are you all thinking?" General Han spoke first. "I think we should prepare for war, not with the aliens, but with the Void Hunters. If they defeat the galactic powers, Earth will be next. But we should not reveal our capabilities yet," added Admiral Chen. "Let the aliens think we are still weak. Let them keep asking for our support ships to carry supplies and wounded." Dr. Lee's voice came from the speakers. "The quantum crystals will be ready soon. We have enough to power a small fleet of enhanced ships that will be faster and stronger than anything the galaxy has seen." Do-hyun nodded slowly. "How long before the aliens lose this war?" "At the current rate, maybe 6 months." Yujin's voice joined the conversation from space. "The Void Hunters are winning every battle. The aliens retreat a little more each time. Then we have 6 months to get ready," Do-hyun decided. 6 months to build ships, train crews, and prepare for our real first contact with the galaxy. President Kim looked worried. "What if the aliens discover what we are really doing?" "They will not," General Han said with confidence. "They think humans are primitive and harmless. They see what they expect to see." Captain Tae-ho Shin's voice came over the communication system. "General, we have a problem. The Void Hunters just destroyed the Chthonian garden world of Verdania. The aliens are calling an emergency council meeting." "What kind of problem?" Han asked. "They want human ships to provide support in the next battle. Real support, not just observation." Do-hyun felt his heart speed up. This was happening faster than they had planned. "How many ships do they want?" 50 support vessels. Transports, medical ships, supply carriers, something that looks military." General Han smiled. "Perfect. Tae-ho, tell them we will be honored to help. Tell them humanity wants to do its part." "But we do not have 50 support ships," President Kim pointed out. "No," Han agreed. "But we have 50 ships that can look like support vessels until we do not need to pretend anymore." Do-hyun looked around the room at the faces of Earth's leaders. 3 months ago, they had been angry about the Council's insults. Now they were planning for war against an enemy that had defeated the greatest powers in the galaxy. "Are we really ready for this?" he asked. Dr. Lee answered from the asteroid. "The first enhanced ships will be ready in 2 weeks. Not many, but enough to make a difference. And our crews?" Do-hyun continued. Trained and ready, Admiral Chen replied. Every human pilot knows this day would come. General Han stood up. Send the message to the Council. Tell them humanity is proud to support the Galactic Alliance. Tell them our ships will arrive in 1 week. As the meeting ended, Do-hyun stayed behind to look at the tactical displays. The galaxy was at war, and humanity was about to enter that war, not as the weak species that needed protection, but as something the galaxy had never seen before. He thought about the laughter in the council chamber 3 months ago. The aliens had been so sure that humans were harmless fools. Soon they would learn the truth. Humans were dangerous precisely because everyone thought they were harmless. The battle for Verdania started badly and got worse. Colonel Jin A.U. watched from the command ship Soul's Vengeance as the great alien fleet moved toward the Chthonian garden world. Hundreds of ships in perfect formation. Torgon battleships like flying mountains. Veltar crystal vessels that sparkled like jewels. Nexari cloud ships that flowed like liquid metal. They looked powerful and terrifying. They looked unstoppable. They were about to die. Void hunter ships detected, reported Lieutenant Bo Ram Ko from her tactical station. Incoming from 3 directions. On the main screen, black shapes appeared against the stars. The Void hunter vessels looked wrong somehow, not built but grown. They moved like living things, flowing and changing shape as they flew. All ships, attack formation 7, came the voice of Admiral Torhan, the Torgon fleet commander. Advance in battle line. Fire when in range. Janae shook her head. Formation 7 was exactly what the Void Hunters expected. Every alien battle for the past 6 months had started the same way. Organized ships in straight lines, firing energy weapons, advancing like a parade. The Void Hunters had learned to counter every alien tactic, but they had never fought humans. Message from Admiral Torhan, reported the communications officer. Human ships are ordered to stay back and provide support only. Captain Tae-ho Shin, commanding the Soul's Vengeance, smiled grimly. Tell the Admiral we understand completely. Human ships will provide support. The alien fleet moved forward in their perfect lines. The Void Hunters waited, black ships shifting and changing. Then the battle began. It was a slaughter. The Void Hunters moved like water flowing around the alien formations. Their weapons changed with each shot. Energy beams that turned to particle streams, missiles that became swarms of smaller attack craft. Every time the aliens tried a new strategy, the enemy adapted in seconds. Torgon battleship Granite Hammer is down, Ko reported. Nexari Fleet Group 3 is breaking apart. Chthonian bioships are being torn apart by adaptive viruses. How long until the aliens retreat? Tae-ho asked. 10 minutes, maybe less, Ko answered. They are losing ships faster than they can count. Jin-A opened a private channel to Dr. Haewon Jung, who was monitoring the battle from asteroid XK739. Doctor, are you seeing this? Every second of it, Jung replied. The Void Hunters are adapting to conventional energy weapons, kinetic weapons, and biological attacks. But they have never seen quantum-enhanced technology. Are our ships ready? All systems are green. Quantum drives are stable. Phase shields are charged and the new weapons are loaded. Jin-A looked at Tae-ho. Captain, I think it is time to provide some support. Tae-ho activated the fleet communication system. All human ships, this is Soul's Vengeance. Execute Protocol Dawn. Behind the alien battle line, 50 human ships that had looked like simple transports began to change. Hull plates slid away to reveal weapon ports. Cargo bays opened to show fighter craft. Support vessels transformed into warships. What are the humans doing? Came Admiral Torhan's confused voice over the radio. Providing support, Tae-ho answered. All human ships advance. The human fleet moved forward, but not in the straight lines the aliens used. Human ships flew in complex patterns, weaving through space like dancers. They used 3-dimensional tactics, attacking from above and below while the aliens fought on a flat plane. Void Hunter adaptation detected, Ko reported. They are trying to analyze human movement patterns. Too bad for them, Jin-A said. We do not have patterns. The first human ship to engage the enemy was the fighter Daegu's Fury. Piloted by Commander Sujin, her ship phased through a Void Hunters. Shields using Dr. Jung's quantum technology and fired a burst of enhanced plasma directly into its core. The Void Hunter ship exploded in silent fire. What was that? Admiral Torhan's voice was shocked. How did the human ship penetrate enemy shields? Trade secret, Tae-ho replied. All ships weapons free. The human fleet hit the Void Hunters like a storm. Ships that should have been impossible. Too fast, too maneuverable. too heavily armed for their size. They fought in ways the galaxy had never seen. Lieutenant Minsu Park piloted his ship Ulsan's Hammer straight through a Void Hunter formation, firing in all directions while his ship spun like a top. Captain Hyojin Song used her vessel's quantum phase ability to appear inside a Void Hunter ship and detonate a plasma bomb. Human boarding craft detected, Ko announced. Colonel Yu's Marines are attacking Void Hunter vessels directly. Jeannie smiled as she watched her troops work. Using quantum phase suits, human Marines could walk through solid matter for short periods. They appeared inside enemy ships like ghosts, striking at critical systems before the Void Hunters could react. The machines had never encountered anything like human creativity and chaos. Void Hunter ships are retreating, Ko reported with surprise. They cannot adapt fast enough to human tactics. On the alien command channel, Admiral Torhan's voice was confused and angry. What is happening? The enemy was winning and now they flee? What did the humans do? We provided support, Tejo answered calmly. Just as ordered. The battle ended with a human victory that the aliens did not understand. The great galactic fleet had been losing badly until the humans arrived. Then somehow everything changed. Casualty report, Ginny requested. 7 human ships damaged, none destroyed, Ko answered. 43 Void Hunter vessels confirmed destroyed. Alien losses significant. Dr. Jung's voice came over the private channel. The quantum technology worked perfectly. Our ships were faster and stronger than anything else in the battle. Did the aliens notice? Janae asked. They know something happened, but their sensors could not track our enhanced ships properly. To them, it looked like we got lucky. Tejo opened a channel to Admiral Torhan. Admiral, human fleet ready to provide continued support as needed. Yes. Of course, Torhan replied. His voice sounded strange. The Council will want a full report on this battle. We will be happy to help with that report, Tejo said. Though I am sure the Admiral's account will be much more detailed than anything we could provide. After the channel closed, Janae looked at the tactical display. The Void Hunters had retreated, but they would be back. And next time they would be adapted to fight conventional alien tactics. But they still would not be ready for humans. Message from Earth, the communications officer announced. General Han wants a full tactical analysis of the battle. Tell her the field test was successful, Janae replied. Human technology is superior to both alien and Void Hunter systems. But we should continue to appear weak. Ko looked up from her station. Colonel, I am reading increased sensor activity from the alien ships. They are trying to scan our vessels. Let them look, Tejo said. Our quantum shields will hide anything important. To their sensors, we still look like primitive human ships. But on the bridge of the Veltar crystalline ship Eternal Light, Crystalline Prime Zethmal was studying battle recordings with growing concern. His crystal body flickered with patterns that meant deep thought. Replay the sequence where the human ships engaged, he ordered. The holographic display showed human vessels moving in impossible ways, firing weapons that should not exist, using tactics that made no sense. Analysis, Zethmal commanded. The human ships appear to be using unknown propulsion technology, his tactical officer reported. Their weapons fire quantum-enhanced energy that our sensors cannot fully analyze. Their movement patterns suggest three-dimensional thinking beyond current galactic norms. Zethmal's crystal body pulsed with colors that meant worry. For 3 months he had been watching reports about human activities. They were mining their worthless asteroid. They were building support ships. They were learning to help the Galactic Alliance. But this battle changed everything. How many human ships participated in combat? He asked. 50 vessels provided direct fire support. Unknown number of small craft conducted boarding operations. And they defeated Void Hunters that had been winning against our combined fleets? Correct, Crystalline Prime. Zethmal was quiet for a long time, processing what he had seen. The humans had been given a worthless asteroid and told to stay out of the way. They had been treated like children playing with toys. But children did not fight like that. Children did not have technology that surpassed galactic science. Send a priority message to the Galactic Council, he ordered. Subject, immediate review of human capabilities required. His tactical officer hesitated. What should the message say, Crystalline Prime? Zethmal looked at the battle recordings one more time. Human ships moving like nothing he had ever seen. Human tactics that broke every rule of civilized warfare. Human technology that should not exist. Tell them, he said slowly, that we may have made a serious mistake. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was unlike any in living memory. Instead of the usual formal speeches and careful diplomacy, the great hall buzzed with worried voices and fearful whispers. Do-hyun Kim walked into the chamber, but this time he was not alone. Behind him came Admiral Kyung-Soo Lim, Dr. Ye-jin Baek, and Captain Min Ho-jang. They wore crisp uniforms and carried themselves like professional soldiers, not the humble petitioners who had begged for mining rights 6 months ago. The change did not go unnoticed. The human delegation will explain their actions at Verdania, announced the council's voice system. But there was something different in the tone, less mockery, more caution. Do-hyun stepped forward. Around him, the alien representatives sat in their usual places, but their body language had changed. The crystalline Veltar flickered with nervous energy. The floating Nexari moved in quick, agitated patterns. Even the ancient Chthonians swayed with what might have been worry. Honored Council, Do-hyun began, humanity responded to a request for support vessels. We provided exactly what was asked for. Support vessels do not destroy enemy fleets. Crystalline Prime Zethmal's voice was sharp. Support vessels do not use unknown weapons technology. Support vessels do not conduct impossible military maneuvers. Admiral Lim stepped forward. With respect, Crystalline Prime, we provided support. The fact that our support was effective should be seen as a positive development. Unknown weapons technology, repeated another council member, a gas form being whose words came out as angry hisses. Explain these weapons. Dr. Beck opened a portable device and activated a holographic display. For the past 6 months, humanity has been analyzing galactic technology. We found it interesting but not optimal. The display showed technical diagrams of alien weapons and ships. But next to each alien design was a human version. Smaller, faster, more efficient. You took our technology. The tree-like Chthonian's voice was deep and slow but clearly upset. We studied it, Dr. Beck corrected. Then we improved it. Your energy weapons are powerful but wasteful. We made them more focused. Your armor is strong but heavy. We made it lighter while keeping the protection. Your ships are impressive but predictable. We made them creative. Captain Yang activated another hologram. This one showed star maps of the galaxy, with small symbols marking human activities. There were a lot more symbols than the Council expected. Human intelligence operatives have been embedded throughout galactic society for months, Jang announced calmly. We have studied your languages, your cultures, your military capabilities, and your weaknesses. The Council chamber erupted in angry voices. Aliens spoke over each other in dozens of languages, the translation system struggling to keep up. Words like infiltration and spying and violation of trust filled the air. Do-hyun waited for the noise to die down. When it finally did, he spoke in a voice that carried clearly through the massive room. You gave us a worthless asteroid and told us to stay quiet. You laughed at our ships and our weapons. You treated us like amusing pets who might be useful for carrying supplies. His voice grew harder. You never asked what humans are really capable of. You never wondered why a species that fights wars constantly might be good at fighting wars. Zethmal's crystal body pulsed with rapid patterns. You deceived us. You pretended to be weak while building advanced technology. We never pretended anything, Admiral Lim replied. You assumed we were weak because our ships looked old and our weapons seemed simple. You did not look deeper. You did not ask questions. You saw what you expected to see. Dr. Beck brought up another display, this one showing psychological profiles of different alien species. The Veltar think in rigid patterns and have trouble adapting to new situations. The Nexari cannot function well in electromagnetic fields. The Torgun are aggressive but rely on outdated tactics. The Chthonians are wise but react slowly to rapid changes. Each species in this council has strengths, she continued, but also predictable weaknesses. Humans studied those weaknesses while you ignored ours. What weaknesses? Asked the jellyfish-like Nexari representative. You seem to have no weaknesses at all. Do-hyun smiled, but it was not a happy expression. Our weakness is that we are newcomers to space. We have no allies, no established trade routes, no ancient territories to defend. We are alone and outnumbered by species that have ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. So you decided to become a threat to make up for being alone? Zethmal's voice carried what the translator called indignation. No, Admiral Lim answered. We decided to become strong enough that being alone would not matter. The chamber fell silent. The implications of what the humans were saying began to sink in. They had not just improved their technology, they had deliberately studied every species in the galaxy and found ways to defeat them. "The Void Hunters," said the Chthonian representative slowly. "They are still out there. They are still a threat to all of us." "Yes," Do-hyun agreed, "and they are adapting to fight conventional galactic tactics. Soon they will launch a major assault on the core worlds. When that happens, traditional military responses will fail." "Then what do you suggest?" Zethmol asked. "Unconventional responses," Captain Jang replied. "Human responses." Admiral Lim activated a new hologram showing the current positions of Void Hunter fleets. They are massing for an attack on Nexus Prime, the galactic capital. Intelligence suggests they will strike within days. "How do you know this?" demanded the Nexari representative. "Because humans excel at intelligence gathering," Jang answered. "We have been tracking Void Hunter movement since the first attack. We know their patterns, their capabilities, and their weaknesses." "Weaknesses?" Several council members spoke at once. Dr. Bike nodded. "The Void Hunters are machines. Very advanced machines, but still machines. They learn and adapt, but they follow logical patterns. They cannot understand or counter human irrationality and creativity." "You want us to put you in command of the defense of Nexus Prime," Zethmol said. "It was not a question." "We want you to let us save your civilization," Do-hyun replied bluntly. "The way we have been saving it for months while you thought we were harmless support staff." The council chamber erupted again, but this time the voices were different. Not angry but frightened. The aliens were beginning to understand that the balance of power in the galaxy had shifted without them noticing. "If we agree to this," the Chthonian representative said slowly, "what guarantees do we have that humans will not turn their weapons on us after the Void Hunters are defeated?" Do-hyun looked around the chamber at the faces, or face equivalents, of beings who had mocked humanity just months before. Now they were afraid of what they had awakened. "You have the same guarantee you always had," he said. "Nothing. Just like we had no guarantee that you would not treat us fairly when we first came here asking for mining rights." "The difference," Admiral Lim added, "is that humans know what it feels like to be the weak ones in the room. We remember being laughed at. We remember being dismissed. And we remember who helped us and who did not." The chamber fell quiet again. In that silence, alarms began to sound. "Emergency alert," came an automated voice. "Void Hunter fleet detected approaching Nexus Prime. Estimated time to arrival, 6 hours." Do-hyun looked at Zethmol. "Crystalline Prime, do you want to handle this the traditional way? Perfect formations, predictable tactics, and certain defeat? Or do you want to try something different?" Zethmol's crystal body flickered rapidly, the equivalent of rapid breathing in an organic being. Around the chamber, other representatives waited for his decision. "What do you need?" he asked finally. Admiral Lim smiled. "Complete tactical command of all galactic forces. No questions, no interference, and no second-guessing our methods, Gwydion, if we refuse." "Then you fight this battle the same way you fought all the others," Do-hyun replied. "And you lose the same way you lost all the others." The vote was quick and unanimous. For the first time in galactic history, an alien species was given complete military authority over the combined fleets of the Council. As the session ended and military preparations began, Zethmol approached Do-hyun privately. "You planned this," the crystalline being said. "The mining request, the humble behavior, the worthless asteroid, it was all part of a larger strategy." Do-hyun nodded. "Humans are very good at long-term planning. What if we had given you better mining rights from the beginning? What if we had treated you as equals?" Do-hyun considered the question seriously. "Then we probably would have become good allies and trading partners. We would have learned from you slowly and shared our discoveries. It would have been much better for everyone. But you prepared for the worst." "We always prepare for the worst," Do-hyun confirmed. "Because in our experience, people who think they are superior to you rarely treat you well. And people who laugh at you are usually not interested in being friends." Zethmol's crystal body dimmed slightly. "We created this situation ourselves." "Yes," Do-hyun agreed. "But now we all have to live with the results." As the human delegation left the council chamber to prepare for the greatest battle in galactic history, one thought echoed through the minds of every alien representative. They had wanted humanity to be a joke. Instead, they had made humanity into something far more dangerous. Nexus Prime burned. Fleet Admiral So-Young Quan watched from the bridge of the human flagship Earth's Answer as the Void Hunter fleet surrounded the galactic capital. The enemy had brought everything. Thousands of black ships that shifted and flowed like living darkness, weapons that adapted with each shot, and an intelligence that had learned from every previous battle. They were here to end galactic civilization forever. Status report, Quan ordered. Void Hunter forces outnumber the combined galactic fleet 3-1, reported Captain Young Mi Choi. They have adapted countermeasures for every conventional weapon system. Alien forces are taking heavy casualties. Through the main view screen, Quan could see the battle raging around Nexus Prime's orbit. Crystalline Veltar ships shattered under adaptive fire. Torgan battleships exploded as their armor was penetrated by ever-changing weapons. The great Chthonian bioships withered as viral attacks found new ways through their defenses. And our fleet? Quan asked. Human Armada is in position, replied Commander Dongwoo Park. All ships report quantum drive stable and phase systems. Ready. Dr. Changmin Ru's voice came over the intercom from the engineering deck. Admiral, the final protocol is loaded and ready. But once we activate it, there will be no going back. Quan nodded grimly. The final protocol was humanity's ultimate weapon, a quantum cascade that could turn the Void Hunter's own galaxy-killing device against them. But it required a human consciousness to guide it, and that guidance could only be provided from inside the blast zone. Signal all human ships, she ordered. Execute Plan Chaos. Across space, the human fleet revealed its true nature. Ships that had appeared to be normal transport suddenly expanded, unfolding like metal flowers to reveal massive weapon arrays. Fighters that looked like simple patrol craft activated quantum drives that let them move faster than light in short bursts. Support vessels transformed into carriers that launched swarms of enhanced fighters. The Void Hunters detected the change immediately. Their adaptive intelligence began analyzing human technology, searching for patterns to counter, but they found something they had never encountered before: controlled chaos. Captain Do-Hyun Kim, now commanding the assault ship Soul's Fury, led the first wave of attacks. His ship phased through Void Hunter formations using Dr. Ryu's quantum technology, appearing and disappearing like a ghost. Behind him, dozens of other human vessels followed similar impossible paths. Target their adaptation nodes, came Admiral Kwan's voice over the fleet channel. Do not let them learn our patterns. What patterns? Laughed Commander Yujin Park from her fighter Busan Storm. We do not have patterns. That was the beauty of the human strategy. Every other species in the galaxy fought with organized tactics and predictable movements. Humans fought like they had been fighting for thousands of years, with creativity, desperation, and the willingness to try anything that might work. Lieutenant Colonel Jin A.U. led her Marines in the most dangerous mission of all, boarding Void Hunter vessels directly. Using quantum phase suits, her soldiers appeared inside enemy ships like ghosts, striking at critical systems before vanishing again. This is impossible, came Admiral Torhan's voice over the alien command channel. The humans are fighting inside solid matter. They are fighting like humans, replied Crystalline Prime Zethmal. We should have expected this. The battle raged for hours. Human ships darted through formations that should have been impenetrable, fired weapons that should not have existed, and used tactics that defied military logic. The Void Hunters adapted frantically, but every time they countered one human strategy, 10 new approaches appeared. Then the Void Hunters made their final move. Massive energy buildup detected, reported Captain Choi. They are activating some kind of superweapon. On the main screen, the largest Void Hunter vessel began to glow with terrible light. Energy readings climbed beyond anything the galaxy had ever recorded. Analysis? Quan demanded. Dr. Ryu's voice was tense. It is a quantum cascade bomb. If they detonate it, the explosion will spread through subspace and destroy every star system within 1,000 light-years. Time to detonation? 10 minutes. Quan looked around her bridge at the faces of her crew. They were young and old, from every nation on Earth, united by their determination to protect humanity and the galaxy that had once scorned them. Signal the fleet, she said quietly. All ships fall back to minimum safe distance, Admiral. Commander Park looked confused. That will leave the galactic forces without support. Execute the order, Quan repeated. Then she activated her personal communication system. Dr. Ryu, prepare the final protocol. Admiral, you know what that means. Ryu's voice was heavy with sorrow. I know exactly what it means, Quan replied. Do it. The human fleet pulled back as ordered, leaving the alien forces to face the Void Hunter superweapon alone. For a moment, it looked like humanity was abandoning the battle at the critical moment. Then the Earth's answer changed course and flew directly toward the Void Hunter superweapon. Admiral, what are you doing? Came Do-hyun's voice over the radio. What humans do, Quan answered. What needs to be done? The final protocol activated, turning Quan's ship into a quantum torpedo aimed at the heart of the enemy weapon. The Earth's answer accelerated beyond the speed of light, existing partially in normal space and partially in the quantum realm. All human ships. This is Admiral Quan, she broadcast on all frequencies. It has been an honor to serve with you. Tell Earth that we kept our promise. The Void Hunter superweapon fired just as the Earth's answer reached it. But instead of destroying the galaxy, the quantum cascade turned back on itself, guided by Quan's sacrifice. The explosion consumed the Void Hunter fleet in a wave of pure energy that left nothing behind but scattered particles. The battle was over. Humanity had won, but the cost was clear to everyone watching. In the aftermath, as rescue ships searched for survivors and the galaxy counted its losses, diplomat Yoon Soo-song arrived at Nexus Prime with a document that would change everything. The new Galactic Charter, written by humans for humans and the species that had learned to respect them. The old council system failed, she announced to the assembled representatives. It was based on superiority and hierarchy. The new system will be based on cooperation and mutual respect. The charter was simple but revolutionary. No species would rule over others. Technology would be shared freely. Military forces would be integrated under joint command. And every species, no matter how young or old, would have an equal voice in galactic decisions. And if we refuse to sign? Asked Zethmal. Song looked at him calmly. Then you are free to leave human-protected space and face whatever threats emerge next on your own. Every species signed. 5 years later, Do-hyun Kim stood in the memorial garden on Earth, looking at the wall of names. Admiral Quan's name was carved at the top, followed by the crews of 17 other ships that had not returned from the Battle of Nexus Prime. Eugene Park approached, wearing the insignia of Galactic Defense Commander. The new recruits are arriving tomorrow, she reported. Young aliens from 12 different species, all wanting to learn human military tactics. Do you ever wonder if we went too far? Do-hyun asked. Eugene was quiet for a moment. I wonder if we went far enough. The galaxy is at peace now, but peace based on fear is not real peace. What would you call it then? A chance, she replied. A chance to build something better than what came before. Do-hyun nodded. Around them, the memorial garden was full of visitors. Not just humans, but aliens from across the galaxy. They came to pay respects to the humans who had died saving their worlds. Admiral Quan would have found that ironic, he said. They laughed at us, then feared us, and now they honor us. She would have found it fitting, Eugene corrected. Humans do not fight for glory or conquest. We fight so that others do not have to. A group of young aliens approached the memorial, led by a Veltar whose crystal body flickered with respectful patterns. They had come to leave flowers, a human custom that had spread throughout the galaxy. Honored humans, the Veltar said in careful English. We thank you for your sacrifice. Do-hyun smiled. We thank you for giving us the chance to make it. As the visitors left, Eugene looked up at the stars beginning to appear in Earth's evening sky. What do you think happens next? We keep building, Do-hyun replied. We keep learning. We keep proving that the universe is big enough for everyone, as long as everyone remembers that respect is earned, not given. And if they forget, Do-hyun's smile turned slightly dangerous. Then we remind them, gently if possible, firmly if necessary. Eugene laughed. You sound like a human. I am human. We all are. And humans, as the galaxy has learned, are not the joke they thought we were. Above them, the stars shone down on a galaxy at peace. A peace built not on the old foundation of superiority and hierarchy, but on the new foundation of mutual respect and shared strength. The galaxy had wanted humanity to be a punchline. Instead, humanity had become the authors of a new story, one where every species could be the hero of their own chapter. It was, Do-hyun thought, a much better ending than anyone had expected, especially the ones who had been laughing at the beginning.